The city's new 10-point plan is looking to alleviate the affordable child care crisis facing working families by investing $100 million in programs, outreach, and resources.
Yeah, community-based public safety patrols also going neighborhood by neighborhood to address quality of life issues. There's a lot to talk about what's going on in New York City, right? So here to give us some insight on both of those initiatives, Deputy Mayor for Strategic Initiatives, Anna Almanzar, and Mayor Eric Adams' Chief of Staff, Camille Joseph-Varlack. So great to have both of you here this morning.
Thank you for having
And I want to begin, before we get to those things that we just talked about, I want to talk about the migrant families. This was a story that we covered yesterday right here on Pixel about migrant families that are being transferred from shelters to hotels, Ms. Varlack. So I want to ask you, they're giving 48 hours notice, right? But there's been some issue with the term now of being warehoused in hotels rather than shelters. Can you explain the logistics and the mentality behind the move?
Sure. So to start, you got to set the table and look at where we are, right? We've had over 221,000 people come into New York City over the course of the last 2.5 years. We still have 59,100 people who are still in our care. We've opened up 212 sites that run the gamut from hangars at JFK to tents in the middle of fields to hotel rooms to buildings that we've built out. And so the mayor's North Star has always been that families and children do not sleep on the street, and we are so proud of our team and making sure that that has not happened. But we do have to move people around. So as we are going through this humanitarian response, we've saved over $2 billion. A part of that has been the consolidation and closing of sites and recognizing that we need to move people around. So we certainly try to give everyone notice. And in addition to that, we make sure that we're giving them access to all the services that we possibly can, which have led over 70% of our newest New Yorkers to taking the steps to the next part of their journey.
Yeah, and moving around, though, can be tough for a lot of families. And some of the critics for this move say, like including former City Council Speaker Christine Queenson, that this is a way to make migrants feel uncomfortable so much so that they just decide to leave the city. What do you say to that?
I say absolutely not. Everything that we have done has been to welcome families with open arms, from connecting them to our local Girl Scout troops, to making sure that we have incredible services within all of the facilities, to making sure that they are immediately enrolled in Project Open Arms, which welcomes them into New York City public schools. So I would push back on that.
But what happens with the ones who are in school, right? So they're in a school in a specific neighborhood because that's where they were.
Yep.
And now they get moved. So what happens to the kids?
Our goal is, if we're moving families, to make sure that they're not moving too far from the area that they are currently enrolled in school. The mayor made that promise to New Yorkers, I think, months ago, where he said, if we're going to move families, our focus is making sure that they're able to stay in the same school district, ideally the same school, so that there's the least amount of disruption possible.
And just real quickly, how many migrant families are still in the shelters, would you say, at this point?
The vast majority of the 59,000 are still families with children.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then in that hotel, they stay for 30 days or 60?
It's 60 days. Families
Okay,
and families with children are 60 days.
Speaking of schools, Deputy Mayor Almanzar, you joined us in August to talk about this 10-point plan, which was meant to address some of the disparities that were going on in pre-K and 3K programs. So what's the progress since that time in August? Now we're in the school year, right? How have you seen a shift at all, and what does that shift look like?
Oh, absolutely, and thanks for having us. And you mentioned at the beginning of the show that the segment, the $100 million we invested this time around. And the 3K program, we have been able to make offers to every single student who applied on time, 43,000 offers, plus about 10,000 more that we made for those who didn't apply on time, but still were able to find a placement for them throughout the system. We included working with our council member, the chair of the education committee, Joseph, is working with us, as well as Councilmember Gutierrez, and in the Office of the Speaker on our bi-monthly meeting, where we look at the entire system and the entire plan and go point by point, making sure that we make progress on those promises that we made back in July.
And how is this also helping with the home-based daycare centers, this 10-point plan?
Absolutely.
Especially with regulations, as we know with that past case with the fatality and the fentanyl found inside their child care.
A heartbreaking tragedy that a family lost a child is always hard to fathom how we can go through that. But the Department of Education, as well as the Department of Health, with other agencies throughout the city, have worked together to make sure that we train our inspectors so they can go to the licensed home child care providers to make sure that they have all the regulations, including fire safety, exit, and first aid kit, and as well as looking for anything that might seem out of place, so they can come back and inform and, if need be, to inform the authorities about
and if
what's
they don't,
going on.
they're shut down.
If they don't, there are regulations that would put them in place to either fix whatever regulation they have broken, and or then measures more strict will be taken.
Understood. Ms. Varlack, I want to ask you about the community-based safety initiatives, right?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of them were used to clean up areas, 125th Street, Central Park, right? 14th Street, for example, which we saw some major issues at. Are there any other new areas that may be targeted now with this that you're looking at and saying, okay, we need to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So separate from those areas you've identified, there have been over 600 operations that have happened across the city. And so we're really proud of Community Link. It's an all-of-government response to long-standing quality of life issues in particular neighborhoods. We've done 14th Street. We're looking at Washington Square. We've done Central Park. We're looking at Roosevelt Avenue is the most recent one, which is really a huge response. And we've got a couple others coming down the pike.
Okay, so outer boroughs are being looked at as
Absolutely,
well, right? Okay.
Yes.
All right, great to have both of you here. I just want to say on a personal note, thank you for the money that you're giving to families for adoption, surrogacy, sperm donation. As a person who adopted, it is a huge, huge cost. So it is great to hear that you're doing that for families. So
No, thank you. We're excited about that.
Good stuff. Great to have both of you here.
Thank you.